Hi guys, it's Grandma Cheap Cheap. Here I am back in my kitchen here in Southern Colorado, and I haven't been taping for a while because Mr. Had to have a knee replacement, and he is now in a rehabilitation facility to work on him getting back and getting ready to come home. So it's just been one thing after the other, but I'm back in the kitchen now, and I have to do something with these pumpkins. I only have a few more left, and I have done some things with the pumpkins, but I just haven't had the opportunity to put them on camera with going back and forth to the hospital, and you know it all, but I want to make pumpkin butter. That's what I want to do, so I'm going to show you not necessarily how to carve a pumpkin or anything, but this is one of the knives that I got this summer, and this one is pretty darn, ooh, let's see what I can do here. I think I'll cut the neck of it off first. And I put it on a dish towel so it won't wiggle all around. And now I got it a little bit here. Let me just take it all the way around. Now, pumpkin butter at this time of the year is so good to put on biscuits. You can use it almost like a sweet potato puree or a pumpkin puree. And since the fruit or the pumpkin is so inexpensive at this time of year, this is something that you can prepare and give gifts. This would be a great little housewarming gift for Thanksgiving when you're going to, okay, I got it here. When you're going to someone's home for Thanksgiving or a dinner or whatever, when you're visiting, this is an excellent, inexpensive, not necessarily dish, but recipe to make. Now, okay, this is what I did. I cut off the top of the pumpkin. Now I've put it in roughly a half, and now I'm going to then cut this one in half as well. And you have to work at these. The little pie pumpkins are even worse to work with than these larger ones. Okay, so like I said, I'm not going to show you everything I do. Here are pumpkin seeds. I don't necessarily like pumpkin seeds, but there's many videos on YouTube, or you can look up, Google it, how you can toast your pumpkin seeds or wash them and get those ready to eat. I just don't care for them, so therefore they're going away. So I take a large spoon and I just scoop out the membrane and the seeds really good, and you have to be kind of careful because it's slick. It's very slippery on the inside, but taking your time, it can be done. And putting a towel down is an excellent way. So here's my cleaned out version of the pumpkin. What I'm going to do is to peel it, and I'm going to put it in chunks, and you can put it in a crock pot if you're going to work and it's a weekday, but I'm just going to put it on the stove top and cook it. So when I finish preparing the pumpkin to be put on the stove top, I will then get back with you, okay? I'll bring you back. See you in a minute. Okay, you guys, I'm back, and as you can see, I've cut up my pumpkin here in big squares. The pumpkin was bigger than I thought, so what I'm going to do is to pour water in my pot. And I have a little, maybe 1/3 water, and I'm going to cut that on the stove and let that boil down until the pumpkin chunks are fork tender. But I still have some pumpkin left, and what I think I'm going to do with this is just bake it. I remember my mother baking squash and probably pumpkin too back in the day, so I'm just gonna, with the flesh on it, I'm just gonna cut these into squares. We can have this with our dinner today. And this is gonna be a savory pumpkin, baked pumpkin. And let me cut it some more. And if I haven't already mentioned, you can make all kind of butters at this time of the year. Apple butter, since apples are so plentiful. Pear butter. I'm making pumpkin butter. And it's a good economical way to get the harvest in your kitchen. Okay. So I have some squares, or you can do slices or whatever. And what I'm going to do is take some good olive oil and just drizzle some oil over my pumpkin squares. I was going to get a little baking brush. I know I saw one. Never ready. I'll do it off camera. I'm going to take a little bit of sugar and just drizzle it over my pumpkin so it won't be tart. And also you can refer to my video that had me making herbes de Provence, and I'm just going to put a little herbes de Provence over my pumpkin, put it in the oven on 350 until it is also done. I'm going to have this with our meal today. So that is savory baked pumpkin. I think I will put tin foil over it. And then I have my, oops, it's not hot yet, my pumpkin squares that I'm going to make pumpkin butter. See you guys when the pumpkins are done. Okay? See you later. Okay, I'm back, and our pumpkin has cooked. It's fork tender. Let me see if I can show you here. Hope you can see. And I really didn't time it. I think it's been about 45 minutes, so Just make sure that your pumpkin is fork tender. See how easily that invades the pumpkin. And now I'm going to use my standing mixer to mix our pumpkin butter. And with a slotted spoon, I'm just taking out the cooked pumpkin. And it was a medium-sized pumpkin. It wasn't one of those huge things. So this will make quite a lot of pumpkin butter, and it's just awesome for gift giving. Okay, so I've put about half of my pumpkin in. I'm going to move this back over on the stove. And to this I'm going to add, I measured out a cup of sugar, but I think I'm just going to put a half a cup in each bag, so because I don't want it too sweet. Okay, and I've attached my paddle attachment for the KitchenAid, just the old paddle. Now, can I get it back on? Boy, oh boy. Okay. And I like to look at, I know if my pumpkin butter is the way that I want it just by looking to see if it's dark. So I'm running out of cinnamon in this one. It's only about a teaspoon, so I'm going to put that in there. Teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And this is nutmeg. This is the Watkins brand nutmeg, and I'm going to put a good palm full in there. I like nutmeg. Watson is packaging their spices in a different container now. It's taller and round. I'm going to put a little palm full of ginger. The ginger's kind of okay. So we have cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and then I'm going to put a liberal splash of vanilla. And that was liberal. And I'm just going to start mixing on the low speed. Okay, I'm going to let that go. Actually, it's mixing down pretty much, so I can add some more pumpkin. And I don't want it to be smooth. I want it to have a little character. I always like that. So it'll be lumpy somewhat. Okay, that's practically all the pumpkin. So I'll put the remaining sugar in there. Okay. It's not as dark as I want it to be, so I'm going to put a little bit more cinnamon. So that's 2 palms full. Let me clean up my workspace here. Smells lovely. Okay, and now I think it's all right. Yes, I think this is all right. Since my, you should be able to see the steam coming out of that because it's still hot. But in a sterile jar, this is what I'm going to do with some of it. In my jar, I'm just going to put my collar on it and just fill the jar up to the neck. I have a small half pint and then a pint, and you can see the consistency of this pumpkin butter is just rustic. Okay, I'm going to take and try to get all the air bubbles out of here so the presentation can be beautiful. And it is. I'll wipe the rim just to make sure it isn't anything. Now this will have to be refrigerated. This cannot just sit out on a shelf indefinitely. It has to be a refrigerated item because it's really not, it's really not being canned, it's just being jarred. But it makes a beautiful gift for a hostess or a co-worker or neighbor, or see how beautiful that is. Now the rest of this pumpkin mixture, since it doesn't have a shelf life, I'm just going to put it in a Ziploc plastic container and put it in my refrigerator to use for another recipe that I have in mind. So let me just taste this. And it just smells so good. And I did bake some bread earlier. So I have a little bread I'm just going to spread my butter on. My pumpkin butter. Just enough sugar for my liking. The cinnamon and nutmeg is just right, so it's 2 palmfuls of the cinnamon, 1 palmful each of nutmeg and ginger. Lovely. So that's my quick and easy pumpkin butter. It's real economical at this time of year because pumpkins will be very cheap at the end of the week when Halloween comes. Now, let me just share with you my baked savory pumpkin slices, and they should be done now. Yeah, see? If you can't, let me just put them. This I just oiled with extra virgin olive oil. Then I sprinkled it with my homemade herbs de Provence seasoning. Put it in the oven at 350, and this has been about 45 minutes, like I said. And look how awesome this can be as a side dish for baked chicken, whatever you're having. It's an awesome side dish. And let me taste this for you. See how easily that cut? Very hot, very good. You can taste the sage and the rosemary and the herbs de Provence. Just an awesome fall rustic dish, and it's very good. So this is my herbed baked pumpkin, and then of course I have my pumpkin butter. Thanks so much for joining me here in the kitchen. It's been a pleasure having you here. Leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you like or dislike this video. Follow me on Twitter at Grandma Cheapo. If you would like to email me, I'm at grandmacheapcheap@gmail.com. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and goodbye now.